What if I told you that every successful person you admire has broken a rule you still obey? While you're following the guidebook of fairness, kindness, and politeness, the truly powerful are rewriting the entire game. They use strategies so psychologically sharp that society wrapped them in shame, so you'd never dare to use them. And here's the unsettling part. These 33 principles aren't theories. They're proven methods. The people who run the largest companies, win elections, and build empires don't just know them, they live by them daily. Machiavelli didn't create these rules, he simply had the courage to write them down. And now, you're about to see why the most successful people in history accepted being called ruthless to achieve what they wanted. The question is, what are you willing to become to finally win the game of life? Truth 1. Everyone secretly ranks you. Right now, every person in your circle has unconsciously placed you in a hierarchy. Some admire you, some merely tolerate you, and some quietly dislike you. You do the same, whether you admit it or not. This hidden ranking shapes how they treat you, the opportunities they share, and whether they truly celebrate your success or fake it while planning to surpass you. Not everyone values you equally. In every group, someone is at the bottom, the last invited, reluctantly included, or casually discussed when absent. Friends analyze your choices, compare your success to theirs, and adjust their behavior based on how you're doing. When you struggle, they feel superior. When you thrive, they feel threatened. The friend who praises your promotion may also be updating their resume. The one who comforts you after a breakup might secretly enjoy your misfortune because it makes them feel better about their own relationship. Truth 2. Playing the victim is a losing game. That toxic boss, manipulative partner, or exploitative friend didn't appear by accident. You attracted them. Your personality, unconscious signals, and unresolved wounds created the perfect entry point. Machiavelli warned that predators don't waste time on the aware. They target the eager to please, the desperate for approval, the ones who confuse attention with affection. Victims aren't chosen randomly. They make themselves visible. A need for validation broadcasts like a signal. Fear of abandonment makes you tolerate behavior you shouldn't. This mindset isn't about what happened to you, but about the energy you project, the patterns predators instantly recognize. They sense desperation for love, approval, or safety from across a room. Until you heal the wounds that attract toxic people, you'll keep drawing them in and calling it bad luck. Truth 3. Everyone is performing their virtue. That friend who constantly posts about helping others, or the colleague who speaks endlessly about integrity, they're not living it, they're performing it. Real virtue works in silence. Once someone needs an audience for their goodness, you're watching a carefully managed image. The most virtuous people you know likely never mention it. Social media has turned morality into performance art. People showcase their charitable acts, political stances, and outrage for visibility and approval. But behind closed doors, those same individuals often contradict the values they promote. The environmentalist flies private, the labor rights advocate underpays staff, the equality champion plays favorites. When someone highlights their own virtue, question why. Authentic integrity doesn't need applause. Performed virtue usually hides self-interest under a polished mask. Truth 4. The nice person is manipulated endlessly. While you're being considerate, others are calculating. They've studied your hesitations, your need to be liked, and they exploit it. Your moral compass becomes their roadmap. Every time you choose kindness over strategy, you hand them another tool to control you. They know you'll say yes when you want to say no. They know you'll accept blame to keep peace. They know you'll sacrifice your goals to keep relationships intact. This predictability makes you easy to exploit. The helper becomes the dumping ground. The one who never complains gets the worst assignments. Your goodness becomes their shortcut. While you're left with scraps, Nice people don't finish last by chance. They're deliberately placed there by those who understand that kindness without limits is free labor. Truth 5. Love fades, fear lasts. Machiavelli studied human behavior deeply. He saw that affection can vanish overnight, but fear of consequences endures. Build influence on being indispensable, not likable. The one who controls valuable skills or resources doesn't worry about being abandoned. The one who depends on charm learns how quickly charm wears off when times get tough. Love is conditional. It depends on meeting someone's expectations, disappoint them, and love can flip to resentment. But fear of losing something essential creates lasting respect. People betray those they love if the reward is great enough, but they won't risk losing someone they genuinely need. This isn't about cruelty, it's about value. Make yourself useful, not just likable. Control resources, master skills, and hold knowledge others rely on. When you're indispensable, you're protected. When you're only loved, you're replaceable. Fear, in this sense, means respect for your impact. Truth 6. Your biggest rival may share your bed. Your romantic partner is both your closest ally and your most intimate competitor. They know your fears, your weaknesses, your insecurities, and in quiet moments, they consider whether they could do better. Lasting relationships aren't built on passion alone, but on respect, shared benefit, and aligned interests. Every strong couple has unconsciously negotiated a deal, what each brings and what each expects in return. Your partner witnesses your worst moments and failures. Sometimes they use that knowledge to help you grow. Other times, it becomes leverage in the balance of power. Choosing a partner is therefore one of life's most critical decisions. They have access to your secrets, finances, children, and reputation. They can be your greatest asset or your biggest liability, depending on whether your goals stay aligned or whether they decide you're standing in their way. Truth 7. Success attracts saboteurs, not supporters. Every win creates unseen rivals. Your promotion threatens someone else's ambition. Your happiness highlights another's frustration. Your growth reminds others of their stagnation. Those who supported you in struggle won't always cheer when you succeed. Your success forces people to confront their own shortcomings. Many would rather undermine you than improve themselves. Your wins become mirrors, reflecting their failures. Instead of being inspired, they find reasons you don't deserve it. Sabotage often looks subtle. Backhanded comments, withheld support at key moments, or quiet doubts spread behind your back. The colleague who congratulates you publicly may question your competence privately. The friend who smiles at your achievement may secretly hope it doesn't last. Success often isolates because it stirs resentment in those who refuse to change. Truth 8. Your story is someone else's warning. While you see yourself as the hero of your life, others use your mistakes as lessons in what not to do. Your breakup becomes their example of red flags. Your failed venture teaches them where not to invest. Your embarrassment becomes their education at no cost to them. People learn more from watching your failures than your victories. Your bad decisions become case studies guiding their own choices. The irony is harsh. While you struggle to learn through pain, others benefit without paying the price. Your suffering becomes their shield. The gambler who lost everything becomes the cautionary tale told to others. The entrepreneur who trusted the wrong partner becomes the reason contracts are studied more carefully. Your hardships save others from making the same mistakes. And while that can feel unfair, it also means your journey carries value beyond yourself. Truth 9. The loudest moral voice hides the darkest secrets. The person who speaks most passionately about honesty is often concealing the biggest lie. The one condemning others' behavior may be wrestling with the same desires. The champion of loyalty may have betrayed someone recently. Loud moralizing is often psychological projection. When someone becomes the loudest voice of virtue, ask what they're trying to deny within themselves. The mind projects hidden flaws onto others as a way to cope. The politician who campaigns on family values is secretly having an affair. The religious leader who preaches purity is battling addiction. The anti-corruption activist may be embezzling. Even the parent who lectures on responsibility may be avoiding their own. Excessive moral preaching is often camouflage for private guilt. By loudly attacking certain actions in others, they try to distance themselves from similar behavior in their own lives. The most dangerous people often present themselves as moral authorities. They use virtue as a weapon while secretly engaging in the same misconduct. Judge actions, not words, especially when those words sound overly righteous. Truth 10. Your children will reject your values. Parents believe their children will honor their teachings, but children instinctively rebel against their parents' deepest values as part of their drive for independence. The very principles you fight for, sacrifice for, and live by often become the ones your children reject in order to establish their own identity. This cycle has repeated for generations. The conservative parent raises the progressive activist. The devout parent creates the atheist thinker. The workaholic gives rise to the minimalist, who values time over wealth. Children don't discard their parents' values because they're wrong. They do it to separate themselves, to become individuals rather than extensions of their parents. This rejection isn't personal, it's evolutionary. Every generation redefines itself to adapt to its time. Your children will evaluate your choices through their own cultural lens, often seeing them as outdated or misguided. At first, they may embrace ideas that alarm you and criticize you for not being more like them. The encouraging part is that with age, children usually gain perspective. Rebellion softens into understanding. Frustration shifts toward appreciation. Surviving that storm together often leads to a stronger bond. Truth 11. Gratitude expires. Help someone once, and they thank you. Help them often, and they start to expect it. Keep helping, and they may even resent you for making them feel dependent. Effective leaders know that continuous assistance creates entitlement, not loyalty. People want to feel powerful, not indebted. The moment your help becomes expected, it loses its value. Human psychology turns repeated generosity into obligation. The person you rescued from financial ruin will be grateful at first, but if you keep supporting them, gratitude turns into expectation, then into resentment. They may come to see your help as something they're owed, rather than something you freely gave. Machiavelli noted that people dislike being reminded of their dependence. Long-term aid makes them feel weak and creates a debt they can never repay. Eventually, they either distance themselves to escape the obligation or invent reasons why you owe them more. Strategic generosity means giving enough to create appreciation, but not so much that dependence forms. Someone who feels briefly grateful becomes an ally. Someone who feels permanently indebted becomes an enemy who wants freedom from the weight of obligation. Truth 12. Your trauma is someone else's opportunity. The times when you're most vulnerable, grief, divorce, failure, financial crisis, are the very moments others look to gain advantage. While you're processing pain, they're calculating opportunity. Your weakness becomes their leverage. Not everyone who shows up during hardship is there to help. Many arrive to exploit what your situation makes available. Trauma attracts opportunists who specialize in vulnerability. The newly divorced can be targeted by manipulative partners. The financially desperate become prey for loan sharks or scams. The grieving often draw in false spiritual guides or emotional manipulators. Crisis makes you crave comfort, answers, and solutions. That desperation weakens judgment and strengthens those who know how to exploit it. While you're struggling to stay afloat, others are learning how to profit from the chaos. Truth 13. Everyone can become the best. Every system promising equality eventually forms new hierarchies. The rebels who overthrow oppression often become new oppressors. The once powerless, once they gain influence, can wield it more harshly than those before them. Hierarchy is not a social invention. It's a natural law. Energy, intelligence, drive, and opportunity will never distribute evenly. Even in systems designed for equality, some people think faster, work harder, take greater risks, or simply get luckier. Over time, those differences compound, producing winners and losers. Communism produces party elites. Democracy produces wealthy influencers. Cooperative businesses still form informal hierarchies. Movements often succeed at shifting who holds power, but rarely eliminate power itself. The oppressed may rise, but power corrupts regardless of who possesses it. The pursuit of equality is admirable, but it resists human nature. Differences in ability, ambition, and circumstance ensure unequal outcomes. The only true equality is the right of everyone to compete within an inherently unequal system. Truth 14. Your identity is your prison. The stronger your identity, the more predictable you become. Identity creates boundaries around your actions, thoughts, and choices. Once others learn these boundaries, they can manipulate them. The person who swears they'd never do something specific is easy to control. All it takes is framing that action as the only honorable option. Your self-image becomes the lock on your own cage. Identity limits adaptability. The one who sees themselves as honest won't use deception even when it could save them. The loyal won't leave toxic situations even when staying causes harm. The consistent can't change course even when their path leads to ruin. Others exploit this predictability. They know the helper will help, the loyal will stay, the honest will confess. Your rigid identity becomes their control over you. The most effective people keep flexible identities, adjusting to the moment. They're honest when honesty serves them, loyal when loyalty benefits them, helpful when it aligns with their goals. They prioritize results over reputation. A rigid identity feels authentic, but it makes you easy to defeat. Those who adapt are harder to control. Truth 15. Cruelty can be kind. Sometimes, the harshest short-term action creates the best long-term outcome. A parent who enforces strict boundaries, or a boss who demands high standards, may seem cruel in the moment, but prevent larger problems later. Society often confuses kindness with enabling. True compassion sometimes means allowing temporary discomfort to avoid lasting harm. Swift, decisive cruelty can prevent prolonged suffering. The surgeon who cuts to remove cancer causes pain briefly but saves a life. The teacher who fails a student forces them to confront what they're avoiding. Machiavelli observed that leaders seeking universal approval often create more harm than those who make tough decisions quickly. A ruler who delays unpopular actions allows problems to grow until the eventual solution requires far greater cruelty. Excessive kindness enables destructive behavior, prolongs pain, and blocks growth. Protecting people from consequences denies them vital lessons. Sometimes the cruelest act is being too kind to someone who needs reality to change. Truth 16. Your reputation outweighs your character. Character matters to you. Reputation matters to everyone else. And it is reputation, not character, that shapes opportunities, relationships, and success. You could live with impeccable ethics, but if others believe otherwise, you'll suffer consequences for actions you never committed. Meanwhile, people with poor character but excellent reputations often move through life with ease. Reputation is perception, and perception becomes reality in the minds of others. Someone who seems trustworthy will be trusted, whether they deserve it or not. Someone who looks competent will get chances, even if their actual skills are limited. Character exists in private moments when no one is watching. Reputation lives in public spaces where everyone is judging. Your character shapes your conscience. Your reputation shapes your options. The truth is, most people will never truly know your character. They'll judge based on fragments, gossip, and first impressions. That's why protecting your reputation must be a higher priority than protecting your private character. Truth 17. Forgiveness is weakness disguised as virtue. The person who repeatedly forgives the same betrayal isn't showing strength. They're avoiding conflict, change, or loneliness. They convince themselves that endurance equals virtue. True forgiveness happens once. Anything after that is enabling. Constant forgiveness teaches others. They can mistreat you without consequences. Forgiveness without boundaries tells people that actions carry no lasting cost. The partner who always forgives cheating signals that infidelity is acceptable. It's easier to forgive than to set limits. It's easier to tolerate dysfunction than to walk away. It's safer to stay in a familiar problem than to face the unknown. Real forgiveness requires the option not to forgive. The most compassionate act is sometimes withholding forgiveness until genuine change is proven. This forces the offender to face consequences and transform instead of relying on guaranteed absolution. Truth 18. People will steal your best ideas. While you pour your heart into something meaningful, others are watching your process, your contacts, and your results. They're reverse engineering your effort into their profit. What you build out of passion, they repackage for money, often more effectively, because they're not emotionally attached. Your passion can blind you to inefficiencies, while others study your methods, avoid your mistakes, and improve on your work. What you see as a mission, they see as a business. They approach it with calculation, not sentiment. Protect your ideas. Don't reveal them too soon. Wait until you've advanced so far that it's nearly impossible for others to catch up. Truth 19. Sometimes appearing weak is the greatest strength. Machiavelli believed that letting others underestimate you creates enormous advantage. While they dismiss you, you gather knowledge and position yourself for victory. The overlooked often see the clearest picture. Apparent weakness becomes real power. When others think you're harmless, they speak freely. They reveal their fears, their weaknesses, and their plans because they don't consider you a threat. This information becomes powerful leverage. Appearing weak also means people don't prepare defenses against you. They focus on stronger competitors, leaving themselves open to your surprise. Machiavelli saw firsthand that rulers who appeared too powerful too early provoked alliances against them. But those who seemed weak until the right moment faced little resistance, because no one bothered to organize opposition. Truth 20. Comfort leads to failure. Each day, you choose comfort over growth. Someone else is choosing growth over comfort. The distance between you widens. What feels safe is actually the most dangerous long-term strategy. Comfort zones are prisons disguised as safety nets. They protect you from discomfort, but ensure mediocrity. Avoiding temporary pain creates permanent regret. Comfort zones shrink with time, if not challenged. What you managed easily 5 years ago might feel impossible now if you've avoided struggle. Just like unused muscle, your ability to handle stress, risk, and uncertainty weakens. Meanwhile, others gain strength and confidence by confronting their fears, while yours atrophies through avoidance. Truth 21. Everyone has a price. Some prices are financial, others are emotional, social, or psychological. But everyone can be influenced once you understand what they value most. The person who claims to be incorruptible simply hasn't been offered the right currency yet. For one, it may be their child's safety. For another, their reputation. For someone else, a deeply hidden secret. Recognizing someone's price doesn't mean exploiting it. It means understanding what drives them. The colleague who can't be bribed with money might respond to recognition. The friend who resists favors might value sincere appreciation. The leader who rejects cash might be persuaded by legacy or reputation. Everyone prioritizes something above all else. Find that, and you'll know their price. The most effective persuasion doesn't feel manipulative. It aligns your goals with their own desires. Truth 22. Good intentions can create harm. Every action produces unintended consequences. A charitable donation may fund inefficiency. Emotional support can enable destructive behavior. Helpful advice can prevent someone from learning vital lessons. Often, the most harmful people are those convinced they're helping. They create damage while feeling virtuous. Good intentions do not guarantee good results. The parent who shields a child from all hardship raises an adult unprepared for life. The desire to help often comes from personal needs, to feel useful, needed, or moral, rather than what others truly require. The road to harm is paved with good intentions, because outcomes matter more than motives. A person who means well but consistently creates negative results can be more dangerous than someone with bad intent but little power. Before helping, examine your real motivation and the long-term consequences. Sometimes, the most caring choice is refusing to help, so someone learns to help themselves. Truth 23. Timing is everything. The right action at the wrong time fails, while the wrong action at the right time can succeed. Opportunities have expiration dates. The window for someone to buy your product, join your cause, or hear your message may last only days or hours. Miss it, and the chance may not return for years. Timing shapes outcomes more than content. Asking for a raise, launching a business, ending a relationship, or investing, each can succeed or fail entirely depending on when it happens. Machiavelli observed that successful leaders had sharp awareness of timing. They acted decisively when conditions aligned and waited when they didn't. Those who hesitate often miss opportunities, while others succeed with weaker plans simply because they acted at the right moment. Truth 24. You must make decisions actively. You may believe you're choosing your career, relationships, and lifestyle, but many of your decisions are shaped by others who influence the circumstances. They act while you remain passive. They study your needs, predict your patterns, and position themselves as the solution when you're most vulnerable. They don't directly control your choices. They control the options you're given. Employers, partners, and marketers all create situations where their preferred outcome feels like your best option. They control the timing, the framing, and the alternatives. To avoid this, take an active role in designing your life. Decide what you want long-term and build toward it daily, regardless of circumstances. Real freedom means noticing when your choices are being narrowed and expanding the menu beyond what others want you to see. The one who sets the menu determines the order, even when the customer thinks they're free to choose. Truth 25. Loyalty is rarely permanent. When you're struggling, people feel safe supporting you. Your failures make them feel generous and superior. You believe you have loyal friends, but once you succeed, your progress threatens their self-image. The same people who encouraged you in hardship may find reasons to criticize you in success. Failure creates community because everyone relates to disappointment and setbacks. Helping you through failure makes others feel better about their own struggles. But success highlights differences in drive, ability, and outcome. It separates you from those who remain behind. Even if they still appear loyal, some may quietly expect benefits from your success. Test loyalty carefully, share a small secret, strategy, or uncomfortable truth, and observe their response. True loyalty becomes clear only under pressure. Truth 27. Your secrets control you. Every secret you carry takes energy to protect. Every hidden truth reduces your ability to live openly. Secrets become leverage points. Others can uncover and use against you. A person with nothing to hide has no weak spots, but someone filled with secrets lives under constant fear of discovery. Your hidden life influences your public. One far more than you realize. Secrets weigh on your mind, shaping your choices, behaviors, and relationships. You avoid people, topics, and situations that might expose what you're hiding. This avoidance creates limits, missed chances, and often leads to more deception. Even without proof, others sense when something is off. Your evasive responses, contradictions, and defensive reactions signal vulnerability that can be exploited. The more secrets you hold, the more obvious it becomes that you're holding them. Machiavelli urged against wasting energy, maintaining false identities. That same energy could be invested in building genuine connections and meaningful goals. The most free people are those who have resolved or revealed what they once hid. When you have nothing to conceal, you have nothing to fear. If no one can blackmail you, no one can control you. Truth 28. Fortune only favors the prepared bold. Luck is rarely random. It's preparation meeting opportunity. But boldness without preparation isn't courage. It's recklessness. Those who appear unusually lucky are usually the ones who prepared long before opportunities appeared. They act quickly because they've already trained, studied, and positioned themselves. Machiavelli distinguished between strategic boldness and reckless impulses. Bold action succeeds when built on planning, patience, and timing. Reckless action fails because it relies on emotion and poor judgment. Think of the entrepreneur who seems to rise overnight. In reality, they've spent years building skills, networks, and knowledge. When the right chance comes, they're ready to act while others hesitate. Preparation is the groundwork for bold success. The most effective people quietly refine their abilities, then strike decisively when opportunity arrives. Truth vain tenuevi, feroz, but train. Every person you admire has mastered something you still struggle with. Their strength exists where you feel weakest. Those who lack confidence seek mentors who radiate it. Those without discipline look to people with strict self-control. Those afraid of public speaking are drawn to charismatic speakers. Your weaknesses create the motivation to improve and make you receptive to guidance. Strong people in areas where you're weak often see your potential and want to help develop it. They recall their own struggles and want you to overcome yours faster. This is why many of the best teachers aren't those who had it easy, but those who overcame real difficulties. They know the barriers, the resistance, and the doubts because they lived through them. Your weaknesses aren't flaws. They are doorways to growth that connect you with people willing to guide you. Approach them with openness, gratitude, and respect. Truth 30. You change the game by refusing to play. The moment you stop competing in someone else's game, you alter the rules. By withdrawing from their system of status, approval, or comparison, you make their wins meaningless. Those who refuse to chase validation become impossible to control through traditional pressures. Non-participation is a power move. When you stop playing, people expecting you to compete lose influence. They either adapt to your independence or lose their leverage. A colleague who flaunts success loses power when you no longer care. A friend who manipulates with guilt has no hold when you refuse to accept it. Refusing to play requires creating your own measures of success instead of accepting others' definitions. The freest people are those who stop participating in games they never wanted to join. They quit jobs that drain them, leave relationships that stifle them, and abandon goals that only serve others' expectations. When you walk away from their game, you create your own. Truth 31. Your death gives your life meaning. People often realize value only when it's gone. Mortality creates urgency. Limited time makes attention priceless, and eventual absence makes presence valuable. If life were endless, there would be no rush to act, no reason to treasure relationships, no need to seize opportunities. Scarcity creates meaning. If you could live forever, your time would hold no weight. If relationships could always be repaired, they wouldn't matter. If opportunities never expired, urgency would disappear. Mortality forces priorities, making you choose what matters most. These choices define the significance of your life. Death also allows you to create a legacy others will respect, one they may not match themselves. You can leave work, influence, and impact that outlives you. Mortality isn't the end of meaning, it is the source of it. By accepting it, you gain clarity to live with purpose, build lasting contributions, and inspire future generations. Truth 32. Power shared is power lost. True power diminishes when divided. The moment you give others authority over your choices, resources, or direction, you weaken your position. Partnerships may feel cooperative, but shared power means reduced control. Unlike money, where two parties can both benefit, power shrinks when split. Shared power also slows decision-making, since people bring conflicting goals, timelines, and risk tolerances. Energy is drained in compromise rather than decisive action. Democracy shows this clearly. Progress is slow because agreement is required from many. Machiavelli did not argue for dictatorship, but he understood that decisive action requires concentrated authority. Learn from others, gather insight, but always make the final decision yourself. Become the leader of your own life, or someone else will. Truth 33. The ones in power decide the perception of history. Everything you create will eventually be judged through lenses you cannot control. Your intentions will be evaluated by standards that don't yet exist. Future generations will interpret your life based on their values, not yours. History shows that reputations shift with time. Heroes become villains as perspectives change. Villains become heroes when circumstances shift. The same action is celebrated in one age and condemned in another. You only control part of your legacy. Cold facts are hard to erase, but interpretation will always shift. To secure influence over your story, you must hold power in your own time. The stronger your influence now, the more control you keep over how you are remembered. Truth 34. The final truth. The harshest truth of all is this: information without application is just entertainment. Most people who hear these lessons will nod in agreement, feel inspired briefly, and then return to old habits. They'll treat knowledge like trivia instead of using it as strategy. The difference lies in turning these truths into daily practice. Replace empty pleasures with meaningful fulfillment. Replace reactive habits with deliberate plans aimed at ambitious goals. Take the harder path of growth instead of the easy path of comfort. The game of power is real. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You either learn to play wisely, or you remain controlled by those who already understand it. Every person rules their own life. The question is, will you lead with awareness or remain a subject in someone else's system?